morning. Today is Monday, July 21st, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Zori and Lady Pitbull on UCY.TV. Good morning, lady.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm awake and for Monday.
That's great. I only went to bed at 3 a.m. last night, so I'm a little...
Oh, yeah, because your friends from Europe showed up, right?
Yeah, my friends from England, and the Subhumans played here last night. They're on their way to Chicago. I doubt they're listening, because they're probably getting out of the hotel right now and going down the road. Not much internet on the road, really. So, but I did give them all cards. Well, not all of them, but I gave most of them cards. UCY.TV cards. So I said, hey, give us a listen.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely. Doing my bit for the
UCY.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Passing out as many as I could, so... Absolutely. I only had 2 drinks last night, too. Like, at 7:30, right when I got there. And that was it. I thought it was going to be getting crazy last night, but I really didn't. It was actually pleasant.
Yeah.
Not to get all wasted.
It's been so long since I got just, like, really wasted. My body won't let me do that no more.
Yeah, me too. It's just like going... I'm drinking, and I'm not feeling it like I used to, and geez, I'm going straight.
One night's drinking and 5 days recovery just doesn't get it.
Yeah, that's how it is for me too, man. It's like it affects me all freaking week. Yeah. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah,
like,
your body says I ain't taking it no more, and that's it. So, yeah.
I drank real heavy at Freedom Palooza, and then I had to drive home. It took me 14 hours on a 12-hour trip home, so I was in rough shape. But that did take me a whole week to recover from.
It does. My limit's 2. Everybody, they say I get 2 martinis. That's it. I'm on a limit because after that I get goofier and heck.
I can handle it pretty damn well. I've got, like, deep Irish roots in my heritage, so...
I used to be able to drink almost everybody under the table in my drinking days, but not anymore. I just, like, my feet start tingling, and then my knees give out, and I'm gone.
I just start getting massive heartburn, and it's just no fun after that.
Right. If it's no fun, don't do it. I don't care. People go, well, here, have another. No, I don't want one. It's not fun for me, but that's it.
Although, when I drank at Freedom Palooza, I had a great time.
I think a lot of it has to do with the people you're around when you're drinking, too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. JJ's got a picture of me that I'm dancing to Poker Face with my chocolate martini high in the air. It's a pretty funny picture.
All right.
Oh. Huh?
I said good times. Love them. Collect all these good memories.
Absolutely. And it was just good seeing my friends, and they were, they're activists in their own right. They're the extreme, far, left-wing anarcho-punk rockers. And those guys are my friends, too, you know what I mean? They were singing songs about no testing on animals and things of this nature, you know what I mean? But that all counts too, really. I mean, I am a meat eater, but I definitely disagree with vivisection and testing on animals. I think that there's other ways that you can figure out whether a product's going to kill you or not. You know what I mean? Try maybe putting in all natural ingredients. You don't have to test on animals. Maybe that's a really good, you know what I mean? If you put in things in your products that aren't going to kill you or make you sick or cause cancer, then you don't have to hurt the poor little animals testing your damn products. It's ridiculous. Oh, JJ just posted it. He did. Look at that, man. That's funny as hell. Thanks, JJ. Oh my God, that's a funny picture. I'm going, woo! Man, oh man. I drank better part of a fifth that night.
I would be under the table drinking that much.
I wasn't. I was still able to function pretty well.
Well, as far as you know, you were.
Right. Well, when I started hearing the birds and seeing the sun come up, the twilight, I'm just like, okay, it's time to go to bed now. I'm gonna drive home tomorrow.
Oh, geez.
So, oh my. I guess you can call me a responsible drunk. Of course
I am. I always was. I was always designated driver.
Me too.
Yeah, even when I was drinking, and I used driving in the mountains drunk, like 90 miles an hour, enough of it. And down these dirt roads. I'm amazed I made it out alive, and I never wrecked. I was just lucky, I guess.
Me too. I remember several times, like, going to Detroit, seeing a show, not remembering how I got home.
Oh, yeah, that's scary. I was waking up and going, where's my car?
Right, oh my God, I've never done that.
I have, yeah.
But I mean, I know, I remember several times going to see a show. I went to see The Damned, and that was the case. And I remember just being so drunk, I'm like, man, I've got to go walk this out. So I remember walking, like, around Detroit at, like, 2 in the morning, trying to walk off my drunkenness.
Yeah.
And I ended up driving home anyway and blacked out. Oh, God, I do not remember how I got home that night. That was terrible. And I don't want to do that again. That was in my youth.
When I used to quit drinking, too, was when a couple times I didn't know how I got home.
Mm-hmm.
And said, okay, that's enough drinking, no more.
Yeah, and as we get older, it just takes a huge toll on our bodies, man.
Yeah, bodies aren't as strong as they were in the younger days and could handle that. I mean, look at how much poison accumulated, and then throw booze in on top of it.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I know guys that, can't wake up without it. You know what I mean? They can't function without it. I know guys that drink so much that if they stop drinking, their body goes into complete seizures.
Oh yeah,
yeah. God, that's like way worse hallucinogenic properties that get released into your brain when you try the DTs. Man, you're just tripping your brains out. It's
I've
horrible.
heard of DTs. I've never seen anyone go through them personally, but I hear it's pretty bad.
It is, really is. There's this newscaster here in Detroit. His name is Bill Bonds, and there's actually a punk band called the Bill Bondsmen. Some of those guys were there last night. But my mom used to work in I think Beaumont Hospital years ago, and he came there with the DTs. He was trying to stop drinking and stuff like that. And apparently, somebody when they gave him his dinner tray, he opened up the top off the food tray and started screaming like bloody murder. I guess he was hallucinating like roaches all in his food, coming all out, crawling all over him, and he was screaming and stuff. My mom had to run in there, I guess, and chill him out. So,
wow.
I mean, I'm laughing, but it really, if it was happening to me, I wouldn't be laughing, because it's very real for a lot of people, which is terrible. It's a bad deal, man. So I'm kind of at a loss as to I don't have shit to talk about. I don't have our fire, we have it 71% contained now. Oh, hey, that's great.
Yeah, it got cooler and it got humid, and it helped a lot. And so they've sent a lot of firemen home, and now doing cleanup, and no more homes are in danger. So that's a good thing. I just scary waiting for the next one though, because I mean we are tinderbox up here, and it's all mountains. But, yeah, and then they found one dead body, and so the guy that started the fire might be charged with manslaughter.
Oh, no.
And he didn't mean to start the fire. Oh, and I found out, too. I thought he was delivering fertilizer to a legal marijuana grow. It was an illegal marijuana grow.
Oh, well, they're going to try and nail that sucker to the wall. They'll crucify his ass.
Yeah, they are. They arrested him, and then he's out on $10,000 bail. But that was before they come across this dead body. So they don't know yet if the man died from the fire or what. So waiting to hear on that. But, you know, I mean,
probably
if you...
freaking Mexican drug cartel related.
Yeah, and the guy's last name is Smoke. Isn't that weird?
Oh, well, that's a cool-ass last name.
Yeah.
Man, maybe I should turn my last name into that. That's cool.
Yeah. Like it's gone down to 97 degrees here, where it was 113, so that helped. Huh? His name's Freddie Alexander Smoke III.
Wow, huh?
What a name, huh?
That's a cool name.
Yeah. 37 from Sacramento.
Man, that's definitely one of the cooler names I've heard.
Yeah. So to me, I don't know. They have to prove without it, you know, beyond a doubt that that's how the man died in the fire, or, you know, because he could have died before it or something. But and, you know, I don't know. An accident is an accident. You know, I mean, this man had no intention whatsoever. I don't care what he was doing up there. He had no intention to start a fire. And that it could have happened to any of us. You know, our car gets stuck, we get it started, and we pull off. You don't think about, you know, oh, God, if I start my car here, I'm going to start a fire.
Yeah. Nobody wants to do that intentionally, unless you're a crazy maniac freak.
Right, you know, I mean, when there's no intention, I just think it's wrong to arrest people on accidents, because the accident can happen to anyone. Now, it would be different if he was all drunk and out there doing it, you know, and being irresponsible, but that wasn't the case, so...
Well, actually it was. He was doing an illegal grow, which is irresponsible.
No, he was delivering fertilizer.
Oh, he was?
Up there, yeah, it wasn't his grow.
Oh.
See, so, and then how do you know that he knew it was an illegal grow or not? A lot of people have fertilizer delivered up here.
Sure.
You know? So, you know, there's a lot to it. I don't, you know, we'll see when the fire's all out and they decide to charge him or not. But, you know, I mean, women, if you're being not being irresponsible and trying to do something bad, I don't know. I've always thought it was weird.
I agree.
Yeah, you know, like if you get in a car accident and you're not drinking or anything, you know, but you have an accident, I don't know, making that person guilty of like manslaughter or something when, you know, it was an accident, it just, I don't know, why ruin somebody's life because of an accident. Accidents happen to everybody. But anyway, that's here or there. And then...
What do you think? What do you think? And this is in your neck of the woods too. What do you think, Jerry Brown thinking about a White House run?
Oh my God! Oh my God! I know. You know what? People here in California are tired of Brown and Boxer and Feinstein. It's time for these old fogies to go to the retirement home and leave us alone.
Oh my God! Yeah, you know, I guess
they're all in their 70s and 80s.
Yeah, dude. I guess Ruth Bader Ginsburg is 6 years old, sitting up on that Supreme Court, and she's like going, I don't know if I can take it anymore, guys. You know?
Yeah, go away, Pearson. I mean, retirement's 65. You know, going or 70, and I mean, these people, you gotta know their way of thinking. It's just like, I don't know. I don't think you should be able to be in office after 60 years old. I don't.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Okay, 65.
I don't know what the books say or whatever. I know freaking Supreme Court Justice is a lifetime appointeeship.
And that needs to be changed, too.
It does. That definitely needs to be changed. We need some freaking new blood in that up in there because the mold is killing everyone.
And they're all bought and paid for. You know, all they're all thinking about is more money, more money, more money. They don't. That's all. And then Pelosi. I mean, California has the worst as far as the lineup is disgusting.
It is. It's. Oh man, the mold. And it's the same thing with the Dingles here in Michigan. Oh my God! Now he's trying to get his. They're trying to. The wife is now trying to run for his seat.
What is it with the wives anymore? They want to be president and they want to do all this and that. You know, I don't know. Like Hillary.
Well, I mean, it would be okay if the wives stepped up and did something, but they're just all they want to do is just keep touting the same old rhetoric that their husbands did. You know what I mean? And tout that same old status quo up there that we see that they're so corrupt. And
then everything's so corrupt. Young people don't even want to get involved in it at all.
Well, the problem is that young people have no idea at the actual power that they have. The youth in this nation, or any nation for that matter, is so strong in terms of politics. And I'm sure I can throw this number out and pulling it out of my butt, obviously, but I would say that like a good 85 to 90% of the young people have no idea the power that they actually have, you know, politically. Mm-hmm. And that needs to start changing because...
yeah, I didn't know at that age. I didn't even think of politics in my early 20s, you know.
I did. Even in my teens, like, Ronald Reagan, like... woke me up. I'm like, man, this guy is a freaking nutcase. What the hell's the matter with this guy? And look at that freaking these guys are crooks. Wait a minute, these guys are criminal. I started seeing that at a young age.
Yeah, see, Reagan, I was already involved in, but yeah, before Reagan, well, I got involved right after Kennedy's death, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I guess I was, yeah, but I understood it, but I really wasn't involved in it then, because then I moved out to my ranch and we had no radio, no TV, none of that, and that was the best time of my life.
Yeah.
It's a void for those years. I have no idea what happened out here in the real world,
well, so
and it was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely a good thing.
But then when I leased out the ranch and moved up north, then I started seeing everything, and I just went, wow, it's time to get involved.
Yeah. Something, you know, anything. Speak out, you know.
Yeah, that was in 1970, so I've been doing it a while.
You know what? The world was so different then.
Yeah. But still, there was still a lot of, you know, I watched this stuff come in. That was the scariest part, was seeing what was... being able to connect the dots that early on, mm-hmm. you know, and seeing it just like gradually came in on me, and I could see how people didn't see it coming on because I was paying really super attention. You know, I watched all the Contras and all that, and realized what was going on and where most people didn't, and it just kept growing and growing. Then when I got my computer and we used to have the well, there was a lot of activism before Windows got here, and a lot of people used you know, the real internet back then, and that was a good, you know, I learned a lot there. I have printed up things that would blow your mind.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember back in like 1988, we got this. It was literally an underground version of the Anthony Sutton book, the Skull and Bones, Introduction to the Skull and Bones, and that was like. When we were passing that around, we were like, oh my God, if they catch us with this, oh my God, we're going to get arrested. You know what I mean? Because it was so like underground information. And then when you started to read that, oh my God, man, both Democrats and Republicans are controlled by the same entities, and that's basically what Skull and Bones is about, that whole Hegelian dialectic there. And once you understand that, so I had a rudimentary understanding of that, like, just out of high school, you know.
I remember in 1971, I read 1984, and that was a game changer for me. I was terrified of 1984 coming around.
Yeah.
Then it was so corrupt that, I mean, I didn't even notice it was 1984. But that, you know, anyone who reads that book, and especially back then, because they weren't being as out in the open back then as to what they were doing. You know, we were still gung-ho, and we were always doing the right thing and all this. But then Vietnam came, and I lost a lot of friends there, you know. But I watched all this come in.
Yeah.
And you know, and now to see, and it's only been about the last 10 years that it just, like, went into overdrive.
Yeah, because
then it was, you know, not a lot of people connected dots back then.
Right. But I also think that within the last 10 years, you're absolutely right about that. I think that the veil has lifted, and they don't give a rat's ass who sees the corruption anymore. I just
where before they hit it very well.
They did. And they did that, and they hid it for centuries. They all had their little secrets and all this, you know, Babylon mystery bullcrap, you know, that they've been placating for 6,000 plus years, you know. It's and now the veil is lifted, you know, and I think the internet, A, has a lot to do with that, but B, you know, I don't think they freaking care anymore. I think they're just going to do it and enslave us, and it doesn't matter if we know or not. It doesn't matter anymore. I think they're pushed beyond, like, a certain limit.
Divided. They are keeping us we are so divided in this country, no one can seem to stay focused on anything. You're either racist or or Israel, or the Palestinians, or you're Democrat, or you're Republican.
Right.
You know, all this division, and people can't seem to get over that and draw together. That's our biggest problem in this country.
I always say it. They keep us fighting each other. Meanwhile, they're just sticking the siphon tube right into our bank accounts and our pockets, and they're just siphoning everything off the top. You know?
Just imagine if everybody would put the racism and whether you're Republican or Democrat or, you know, whatever, put that behind you and connect with one goal in mind to get back our country. It would be a breeze, but that won't happen because of people got to fight with each other. People got to call each other names. And it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. If you know that we're in trouble, you come together.
Yeah, that's the only logical thing. I mean, we're all part of this human race, or so I thought. Yeah, absolutely. And when you got one group subjugating another group, there's problems. There's
yeah, and, you know, I mean, there's all these separate things. There's, you know, the environment, there's chemtrails, there's GMOs. Okay, so, we all have these things that we're really passionate about, like one more than the other. But that isn't the main thing. The GMOs and all that, it's not really going to matter, especially with the chemtrails, geoengineering. Every breath you take, if you can't breathe anymore, if your body is so weak you can't fight anymore, then what? You know, it's not going to matter. People, the geoengineering, if we don't stop that, I mean, every day I see more and more sick people. I see myself not feeling good as often, you know, I mean, more often. And I do eat real good, clean food and everything. It's just...
Yeah, it's hard. I eat clean food, too, or try to. I try to make
but when you're sick,
effort.
Do you think you can go put up a fight when you're ill?
Exactly. Well, that's the whole point. They're depleting everybody's immune system with the pharmaceutical drugs and with the chemtrails and with the GMO food and it being sprayed on our heads. I walked out of the bar last night, you know, just to take a breath of fresh air, look up, and I'm, you know, the sun's about to set, and oh, look at the beautiful orange chemtrails up there. I'm going to take pictures of this.
Yeah. You know, at that meeting, I mean, when that doctor got up and spoke, it really sets it home because with every breath and the aluminum oxide goes up through your nose, right past your brain barrier and into your brain. And that's Alzheimer's that, you know, who knows the damage it's doing. Maybe you don't have Alzheimer's yet, but I mean, where every breath is going up there, you know, we're all just going to become, you know, and the longer it is, the more sickness, the more respiratory, you know, the doctors got up there is really scare you.
Absolutely. And it goes around the world. I mean, they spray in one little part of the world, it goes around the entire globe. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
just... like we said, it's global. And, that's one good thing. And I found another. We weren't the only place that had the geoengineering meeting in Arizona. That a month before, just in June, they had a big one with their senator there, all about geoengineering. They had a lot of facts. It was really interesting. It's on YouTube. It comes in 7 parts. They're 14-minute segments, but really they had a lot of documented evidence, and so we're the second ones, and ours turnout was the biggest turnout they've ever had here. So people are starting to wake up, and we need to get more and more.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure, but I think Jules might be here.
It looks like she's trying to connect with her.
Yeah. All right, what's the matter with this stupid thing?
Skype's been pissing everybody off.
Yeah, Skype went down on me. I mean, I just before I got on, I'm like, oh no, it's not responding. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you guys did that, and
now I just hope more follow suit. Yeah, you know. Because on our own, we don't have, you know, I mean, because like Dane, he gets in touch with, you know, the congressman and everything all the time, talking with them and stuff. But to get it done, when you have a whole community like Hawaii, they've banned geoengineering over their skies. But the problem there is there's wind currents. You're still going to get sprayed even if they aren't spraying over your area.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right,
but these meetings are important because then the people that are saying, oh, it's a conspiracy or this or that or name calling, it puts a stop to that, and then they may rethink it and go, well, maybe they're not nuts. So.
Jules is saying that it's not ringing on her end.
That's what happens to me with Jules whenever she tries to call me.
Oh, dang. Really?
Yeah. Jules never rings for me when we're on together. I always just go over to the recent and double click on it and then join.
Do what? That's what you have to do to join.
Yeah. I never get to answer. Now with you, it rings every time and I can answer it. That's
bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird. I can't log into UCY TV either. Remember, and that's why you have to do it. It won't let me log in. It's just weird.
Oh, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is starting to make me mad.
Yeah.
I want Jules to come in. Call failed, you bastard.
Did you see also in the police state out in full force again still? New York man choked, killed when suspected of selling cigarettes on the sidewalk.
The guy with 6 kids.
Hi, Jules.
Hi, Jules.
Good morning. Yeah, was it the guy with 6 kids?
I don't know. I just seen the headline of it. I haven't read it yet. But
yeah, it's been floating around all weekend. There was a dude with 6 kids in New York, and NYPD freaking choked him and killed him.
Oh, God. And
yeah,
it'll be okay.
Huh?
And it'll be a good kill, of course.
Well, hey, they got offices in Israel.
That's right.
Taught them everything they knew.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
How are you, Jules?
Still not recovering like I should be. No, not really.
This is dangerous.
I know. I slept 12 straight hours. I just woke up. Wow. And I also found out that a side effect of that medication is making you sleepy. So that would explain why I haven't been able to keep my eyes open.
Yeah. How much more of it do you have to take?
I don't know. I'm probably 15 or 18 into it, and there's a refill on it.
Wow. Antibiotics scare me.
I hate antibiotics. And now it's, yesterday the stomach cramp started. I was like, so I've been doing my super greens with loaded with probiotics, and it was almost an instant feel better.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great, actually. I mean, I'd been working out here, and I went upstairs. It was almost dinner time, and I just looked at my husband. I'm like, oh, my God, I feel like I'm dying. And I did the super greens, and then it was like supercharged me again, and my stomach felt all right. I mean, literally, it felt like my insides were just ripping out. And then, I don't know, after I ate, that was it. And once I eat, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, and your body needs that rest to heal.
Yes. I just told her that the other day when we were Skyping back and forth.
Yeah. Right, because like if you don't give your body time to rest and heal, you're not going to get much accomplished anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
I'm glad you're feeling a little better.
Yeah, I'm glad you slept.
Sorry, hold on. I had to nose blow. It's just, I don't know, I just feel like I can't, you feel like you're not fully awake and you don't have energy to do anything, and I got so much shit to do. So I just have to keep forcing myself, and I really should just be sleeping.
You know what? The world won't end. You should just get the sleep and say, hey, I can't do it. Go to sleep and let your body heal, because the more you stress, the worse your health's going to be.
Yeah, but our programming won't get done.
Right.
Well,
who's going to cut all the shows to run?
Themselves,
because our whole weekend programming had to get done. So I got 11 I do every weekend.
Yep.
That's why I can't leave and go anywhere. That's why when I do go anywhere, I got to get everything done by Thursday. Which means everyone's got to send everything to me early, and then I do like 10 straight hours of audio.
Yeah.
So I can leave the house for a couple days.
And that's no joke.
It isn't a joke, no. But, I don't know. Some days I go, why am I doing this? Why? And hey, can I tell you something? UCY made 2 cents over the weekend.
Oh, yay, guys. Thanks for clicking.
And I can't really go say that, but
I just said it, so screw it.
And we launched the Pigmine site, and that made a whole 2 cents too. So I was like, I just killed myself for
4 cents.
I don't know. That must have been like 2 whole months worth of insanity. Yeah, for 4 cents.
Shit.
As I'm sitting here going, man, I wish I could sleep because I'm so sick. And I'm like, why? Why? The sad fact of the matter is, I saw an alternative journalist who, thinks she's so smart. She's going to put out these memes now with her, she's coming up with these cool phrases that she came up with out of her big-brained head and pound her name. And I see one that she posted yesterday about if you buy an alternative media T-shirt, then you've proven that you're not immune to marketing techniques either.
What?
And then the pound symbol was "Don't be stupid."
Oh,
I was like,
God.
wait a second, don't be stupid. When we ran T-shirts for the old network that I was on, the reason we ran those T-shirts, you want to know what we ran those T-shirts for? He told me to make T-shirts because there was no possible way that he could ever give me a penny for any of my time or efforts. So he's like, you know what? I'll split them with you. So at least you can get paid for something for doing the entire website and producing every show on this network.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid. I can't even believe I saw that yesterday. Don't be stupid. And guess what? I paid for all the T-shirts. I fronted all the money up front. I found the printer. I literally, every time I saw shirts on sale at any of the arts and crafts stores, I would go and buy them. And I would drive to get them. And I went between Rochester and Buffalo everywhere so I could get the shirts for a good price. And it was all my gas money. But the best part about it was, out of the 100 that we had printed, I ended up with 80 left. So I ended up eating all that. So I don't know. You know how rude? I just thought that was absolutely rude. There are some now people like her are people who are in this for the money.
Right.
So it's all about funneling to their site, and I don't know. She's got all kinds of weird things going on. I just don't trust people like that.
Well,
People like us. I was trying to do T-shirts, so maybe it could be made worth somebody's while to put their entire lifetime and effort into it for $20. It really made me angry, and I almost went and made a very, very nasty comment on it, and I didn't.
Oh, it's good that you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Good.
But there was just absolute rudeness, and all these people are clicking thumbs up. I'm like, wow, people are really dumb. Like, she's like, don't be stupid. How about you guys are really stupid? Not you guys. Like, the people who are clicking thumbs up on that.
Right. Well, how about the fact that she puts out a meme on Facebook in the first place? I mean, if you live by those things, then you definitely have issues. Memes on Facebook. I mean, screw Facebook to begin with.
Well, what are memes about? Memes are about trying to falsely inflate your traffic.
Sure.
I don't do memes.
Exactly. Why? Exactly. You're doing it for just like, ew.
I'm doing info.
I'm doing this.
News.
Yeah, to get thumbs up for my friends. Woo. I mean, what? I mean, that's the stupid right there. Don't look any further. Hello?
I get sick, and I get tired, and I get crabby, and I say, why?
T-shirts are an expression of somebody, and you know what I mean? Because I come from the punk movement where they spray paint their own T-shirts. I mean, that's creativity. You don't want to
used to Sharpie marker them.
Yeah, exactly.
Big black Sharpies, and then do other body parts too.
Yeah,
that's excessive.
An expression of your views, an expression to maybe get conversations going. Personal expressions, artwork. I mean, that's just her attacking. Like, you'll sell out if you buy a T-shirt. That's retarded.
Yeah, I thought that was really out there. That's not called selling out if you buy a T-shirt. It's called supporting your favorite, you know what I mean? And I'm not selling T-shirts because I'll never do that shit again. I got stuck with 80 of them that I'm going to wear forever for a network that I can't stand that went out of business. But I designed the logo. Actually, Paul designed the logo.
I think it's cool.
I don't know. Anyway, it was just irritating to me, and I'm going to say it. If you like an alternative group, then support that group.
Yeah.
I mean, don't go to buy tickets to go meet them in Georgetown somewhere to go drink Kool-Aid. But, all of us, well, not all of us, most of us are doing this. How about not even most? Many of us, all of us here on UCY anyway, are doing this for the right reasons.
Yes.
There are other networks out there that are doing it for the right reasons. There are some others out there that are not doing it for the right reasons, whether it be about ego or profit or whatever. But I'm sure everybody knows who is who.
That's right.
Don't let them tell you it's stupid to do whatever you can, even if it's just showing up every day to show your support for what people do, because just know that every single one of us are just like you, and we're human, and if nobody seems to care, then we don't either. That's the one thing that keeps me going. And I had a friend tell me, after all this work that I do every day to share stuff, my friend is getting really depressed and says, I'm going to be probably not around for a while because I'm just so down. And I'm like, but you being around and motivating me on a daily basis is what keeps you inserted into my daily routine of killing myself. So if you just disappear for a month now because you're depressed and expect me to sit here and do all your work, it's not going to happen.
Mm-mm.
It's not going to happen if you vanish. You need to be here.
Yeah.
And if people aren't here, and that's what I'm saying too about listeners, people aren't here, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
That's what motivates me. I am motivated by others, and if I'm a procrastinator, guys. I will freely admit that.
I am.
That has been an issue of mine since I was little. Well, so there you go. But if somebody is here to motivate you or to make you feel like you're making a difference, then it's a whole different story. But unless that happens, it's not going to happen.
Right. Because you just don't feel like there's a reason.
Right. There isn't a reason. I'm not doing this for me. I mean, I guess I'm doing it for my kid, but my kid doesn't really care. My kid wants me back. My kid wants to know why Mom doesn't hang out, or, she makes this comment yesterday. I was so angry, but I shouldn't be. She's like, well, Mom, all you do is lay around. Because she sees me after dinner going, oh my God, I'm going to die, closing my eyes. She doesn't see me beyond that most of the time, because guess where I am?
Yep.
Out here, working.
Down in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. This is... I don't know what to say. I hate this sometimes.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Especially, you're a one-person act, almost.
Well,
keeping the whole
one-person
thing
act with all the satellites. All the bees buzzing every week. They show up.
Yep. It is. That's pretty much what it is, huh? That's a good analogy, a queen bee.
I wasn't meaning queen bee, but I guess, yeah.
Well, kind of. It's funny because there's a lady named Karen, and she used to, she's our age, she's a punk rocker, but her name is Queen Bee. I don't know. I was in Detroit last night, so my brain's still in Detroit right now. Oh, I had a great time. I had a fantastic time. I gave everybody UCY.TV cards. So, hopefully they're listening. I'd like to say, hey guys, if you are, it'd be cool.
Did you tell them that, I think it was our first Christmas I ran during the Christmas season. I just rebroaded Punk Rock Christmas Radio Network.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's all I played for the whole week of Christmas was Punk Rock Radio.
I love that. That's awesome. Well,
but
there's
all Punk Rock Christmas songs.
Yeah, all Punk Rock Christmas songs?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's cool. See, I love that. And there's a radio station out here in Ann Arbor around Christmas time that plays, they'll play all ska and reggae Christmas songs. And then the next show they play all rockabilly reggae song or rockabilly Christmas songs, and it's just it's so cool. So there's every genre has their own, plethora of Christmas songs that they cover. I love that shit. Absolutely love it.
Try to remember one of the Christmas tunes. You said the last Ramon died, right?
Yeah.
That was a couple days ago. A couple days ago,
that just took my whole breath out of my chest. And I wanted to strike up a conversation with these guys last night because, now, I can't, maybe we can think about this. And I think I brought this up on Saturday night for After the Last Cup. Because Chuck O'Chelly was on with us for a minute. But I can't think of any other band, like rock and roll, in the rock and roll genre, where all the members are dead. Can you? Other than now the Ramones? Even rock and roll 60s bands, you got the Mamas and the Papas, some of those guys are still alive, And
I'm sure I could think of somebody, but I'll have to think about it for a few minutes. Yeah. I know my sister would know.
Really? Yeah,
Johnny Winters died too.
Yeah, yep.
And what's his name? The guy used to do the photograph commercials, and he used to do. He just died yesterday.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, you'd know who he was. My mother loved him.
Oh, all these things happen in threes, It's going to be the third rock and roller to go.
Oh, he wasn't a rock and roller. He was a movie TV guy, but you know who he was. James, Cupid doll in the chat room.
Come on, chatters.
Here he is, James Garner. I had to go to Pepper Six Page.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Wow.
he died at 86, and they had when they called the ambulance, he had already passed away, so they're not really sure what happened. But I mean, he was 86. So.
Yeah, Johnny Winters was 71. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's not that old. My
Johnny
dad's
Winters.
70.
I know. It's
Yes,
not
mine.
as old as it used to be. But, yeah.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg is 86.
Yeah, just like we were saying, all our politicians are in their 70s and 80s, going on 90.
Yeah, they've got mold issues.
Definitely.
So has anyone been following any of this crazy news? Like, honestly, I've been sharing it, but I kind of checked out.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much avalanche of news every day. It's so impossible to keep up with all this crap. I mean...
And decide which is propaganda and which can
which
be
is
fact-based.
exactly. I think that's the thing, Zori, is that it's been insane as far as the volume for a long time. But I think that the propaganda machine has just stepped it up to the nth degree right now. And so that's what's making it so hard to discern. And even for me to retain things that are happening now. Like, I'm remembering things that I was like, oh, I caught that. But
Right.
what, when?
But you gloss over it initially, you know what I mean? And it's just like, because just the volume of it, just the occurrence.
It's
just
according to what radios or what TV station people watch as to their opinions even. You know, it's just crazy. I don't know. I get frustrated trying to figure out just what they're at, you know.
which slant will you believe
Right.
today?
Here's something that I did see yesterday, and I need to find the video, but I see a story too. What? Now, I have theories on this. I started ranting about this upstairs after I saw this. That R.J. Reynolds story. Did you catch that?
No.
The widow who sued R.J. Reynolds and won.
Oh,
$1
yeah.
billion or something?
Wait, no. Her husband was 36. He had started smoking at 13. She said that he was not aware of the dangers of cigarette smoking. And so she was suing R.J. Reynolds. They awarded her, I believe it was $23 billion
Yeah.
with a B
Mhm.
dollars.
That's insane. I
Oh,
just
yeah,
brought your other
Zori.
account in, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, hold on. I'm going to kill this.
Sorry.
So, Zori, you're like matter-of-factly, yeah, uh-huh. 23 B with $1 billion. Like,
isn't that the
if
highest
it was 23 million, I could go, but she's
Billion?
one widow claiming something that every single one of us smokers could claim. I started when I was 13, and I didn't know the dangers either. So where's my
Right.
23 billion?
It was
You don't
funny.
have the good lawyer.
When
That's outrageous.
When I got home last night, like at 2:30, I plopped on the TV just to see the news or whatever, and then right as the guy was like, "She'll never get it," I turned it off. That lady's never gonna get that 23 billion. She'll never get it. And then I click, and then I went to bed.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. First of all, 23 billion is going to completely decimate a public company. Even though they're a rich company, the shareholders don't like that shit, okay?
Mm.
Now, secondly, in law, you have precedents. So now that this woman got $23 billion for her one husband, what is going to happen across the nation and across the world? Is there going to be a massive class action lawsuit that tries to put now Philip Morris out of business?
Yeah, it's
There's
crazy
precedents then.
precedents, yeah.
Now that $23 billion could have went to help thousands, if not millions, of smokers, or given to widows of thousands or millions of smokers who died. Why is she so special? Is what I want to know. And we're going to play a clip when I find it.
Right on.
And here's one more thing, though, and this is what I was ranting about last night. I had been reading about experiments that they were doing down in Texas A&M between DARPA and Philip Morris and Medenco was a pharmaceutical company.
Ew.
I think that was their name. And they were working on making some more of those universal flu vaccines using tobacco plants.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were doing this mRNA crazy stuff. Now, here's a thought. R.J. Reynolds and Medenco, I think, hold on, I'm going to search. I think one bought the other.
There's so many of the big corporations buying and, just becoming these massive, mega.
Yeah, megacorps.
Right.
It's consolidation is what they're doing. When they get consolidated in one big giant entity, this is when they're going to make
right. Like all media is owned by 6 corporations.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Yeah.
But if those 3, one has bought the other one out, then that would make 2 major ones, right, Jules?
No, this is what I was getting at. Is that so? Tobacco is on its way out. You see this e-cigarette thing, right? You see the New World Order saying it's bad for health and it's going to ruin health care. And now we have, government health care. So eventually, there isn't going to be smoking, okay? It will not be allowed, and they will not produce tobacco, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Right? So how about...
make people mad.
Huh?
That would be one way to get people crazy, too.
Then give them drugs. They'll shut up.
There you go.
It'll be full of nanotech. They'll shut up. No, what I find interesting is the fact that R.J. Reynolds is a big boy, and they've been around forever. They're not going to go easily, okay? Now, I'm sure right now there's a lot going on behind the scenes. We've also looked at some of what's going on with Wall Street and the threat that, there might be attackers that take you all down to zero. You better pay them $1 million a month to get Keith Alexander and Michael Chertoff in there to help you.
Yeah.
Right? I think that there are some definite struggles going on right now where there had been autonomy and these companies and business units have been operating pretty much as their own entity outside of law for a long time. I mean, within the law, but you know what I mean. Like, it's been hands off for an industry, and now they're trying to get their little grubby octopi arms in there.
Yeah,
they're not liking it, and so there's going to be some dirty games being played. I think this stinks of a dirty game. $23 billion for one individual.
I have to agree with that, and that's awesome connections that you're making right now.
Well, I want to know, and I got to remember the name of that company. It was like Medenco or Medneco. It's on my Before the First Cup page. I just have to scroll down and find it. So maybe if once we get a clip going, I will I'll go dig it up. But I was pretty certain that R.J. Reynolds had bought that company, and they were now all in bed with DARPA doing this vaccine research. And I was like, oh, R.J. Reynolds, aren't you smart now that you see the writing on the wall for tobacco? Why don't you become a tobacco producer for DARPA to make all their vaccines?
Ooh.
Right.
Whoa.
But now I'm wondering, with this huge award, $23.6 billion, that's going to put some big hurt on R.J. Reynolds. So did they use R.J. Reynolds to figure out the technology with their, availability of all the tobacco and all of their technology, and now they're just going to chuck them off the train?
Now get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's how they operate.
I know they do. That's why when I saw that, I was like, oh, there's way more to this story.
Yeah, and these companies think, I'm in with the big boys. Yeah, well, you're going to be out as soon as they're through using you.
Yeah.
I mean, billion, that is, I could not even, I thought it was million, and I heard someone mention this. Maybe it was you guys on Friday. Maybe it was someone over the weekend mentioned it. I was like, oh, they got that wrong. That had to be million. And then I saw the headline. I was like, no way. It can't be billion.
Right.
Billion is a massive amount of money.
I thought it was a misprint. They got a B instead of an M, but no.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, there's something up with that. I agree. Something is wrong in freaking Dodge.
Something is wrong. Yeah, I think that they sold them out. I think that, and especially the fact that they had been involved in working on that vaccine, and I will find that. I just saw, too, Washington, D.C. becomes the latest jurisdiction to decriminalize pot.
Whoa! I mean, did they... I knew they were talking about it.
Yeah, that's weird.
So they ruled on it?
I guess. That's what the clip says.
Well, I remember going to a protest there when I was like 18 years old, and I drank my first legal bottle of wine near the stairs.
Here, let's play this legal pot one, and I will. I'll find the one on the tobacco, and then I'll dig up the tobacco story. Hold on. Hold the phone. All right, here we go. Maybe this will work.
This week, the District of Columbia became the latest jurisdiction to decriminalize possession of marijuana. It's part of a growing national trend. For the latest about all this, we're joined by Melanie Eversley, a reporter for USA Today. So what's the new rule specifically in D.C.? You can't just walk down the National Mall smoking marijuana now, right?
Right. Essentially, this law took effect on Thursday. It basically decriminalizes possession of up to an ounce of marijuana. So what that means is if you are caught with that on your person, instead of being subject to criminal penalties, what you would get is a $25 ticket, which is less than the cost of a parking ticket here in New York City. Mm-hmm. It also changes a couple of other things. If police smell marijuana while they're on their beat or whatever, they can no longer search a person for it. If they also find up to an ounce of marijuana on a person, mm-hmm.
They
can no longer automatically search them. Okay. So it drastically changes things.
But federal land in D.C. is exempt from
this. That's right. It only affects non-federal land. Federal land is still subject to the more strict marijuana laws.
So just across the river in Brooklyn, the DA here is sort of decriminalized it as well. I mean, he points it out for kind of a different reason.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing. This whole issue is opening up a debate that's kind of reminiscent of the crack cocaine debates from the 1980s and 1990s. The Brooklyn DA pointed out that the people who tend to be affected by low-level drug offenses are young minority men. And he declared that he was no longer going to prosecute such cases because he felt that it just wasn't worth taking up his people's time when there are a lot more harsh crimes that they could be focusing on. And also, he took issue with the fact that when people are convicted of these crimes, it affects the rest of their lives in terms of finding housing, in terms of getting scholarships, all sorts of things in their life.
Is this a sign of kind of a changing attitude across the nation about this issue? Obviously, we've had stories about Colorado and Washington legalizing sales for recreational use now, and this is obviously the nation's capital.
Yeah. From not to say that social media is a measure of what the general population is doing, but what I've seen is that people overwhelmingly on social media, at least, are responding in a way that suggests that they feel that maybe it is time to consider decriminalization in a lot of places. You have not only the low-level drug laws, but also just in terms of medical marijuana. A lot of people are pointing to there's increased knowledge of the health benefits of it as well. So I think that people across the country are, beginning to question whether it's worth, the police time to prosecute these things.
Besides what you hear on social media, there are other legislators in different states around the country that are pushing back that don't agree with this.
Right. I would say that the strongest argument against is that there are studies that have shown that when one uses marijuana, it produces changes in the brain that makes one want to seek out stronger drugs.
Okay. Melanie Eversley from USA Today.
Right,
Thanks
the
so
gateway.
much.
The gateway drug.
No, I've always said the gateway drug is sugar. For little kids.
Sugar and television actually are two of the most addictive things that I've seen.
You walk down that cereal aisle. I mean, it's a wall of sugar.
I don't know. I kind of have a few thoughts on all of this decriminalization. Notice the timing.
Yes.
How this is coming and the world is unraveling right now. And anybody who twists one up and smokes it is not going to be paying attention, and nor are you going to care if Ukraine is bombing freaking Israel. I mean, I don't know. You know what crazier things could happen. You're not going to care.
Right.
You just literally don't care.
And you're going to be too mellow to want to do anything about it anyway.
Right. You're going to be chilling. And I got to tell you, chilling at late at night is probably one of my most favorite things to do because I just shut it all out.
Yep.
And most people drop me a note after midnight. Unless it's life or death, I'm not going to respond because that is the only quiet time I get ever. Either that or sleeping, you know? And so I just shut it all out.
I don't know. I know a lot of activists that smoke, and it doesn't seem to stop them. In fact, they get more creative with their activism.
Right.
So, you know.
But I'm talking in general, Zori. I mean, not activists. Like, this is now they're not just making this available to activists. They're making this now available to all.
Everyone.
Now, it probably was the activists that were the ones who were doing it before it was legal, just because they were more creative people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But like the rest of the population, you know, alcohol isn't necessarily going to cut it anymore. But now they open it up to, you know, hey, Johnny, you never tried pot before. Look.
And whatever you do, don't look in your mama's medicine chest.
Yeah.
Watch out for the pharmaceuticals, you know, gotta lock those up too.
I don't know. I just almost think that it is a part of the big distraction. I mean, it's great, and we can all jump up and down, but I will never forget hearing Nathan Paranoid, FKA Paranoid, his show right before the legalization vote in Colorado, and he was absolutely against it. And the reason why was because now it's going to be state-owned and state-regulated,
right.
And they have their vampire teeth into it now, and look at.
That's right.
And they're jumping up and down how much money they're making. But
I didn't want it to be legalized.
It just decriminalized.
Well, not even that, because once the corporations get in it, you're going to get GMO into your pot.
Oh,
and they're working on that already.
Yes.
Yeah, they're working on that already. And, you know, but think about this. By making it legalized, we also used to have the, what was the name of that movie? Reefer Madness thoughts and beliefs out there as well. And now they are working on, you know, someone was saying on air, and I think it was Nick, about like old ladies now who will smoke a joint, you know, for the rheumatoid arthritis, and how great it was that the old people were getting into it. And I was putting in chat, yeah, but those were the baby boomers.
Right.
Those were the hippies.
And we're smoking it all along.
Right. So this is the perfect timing to be legalizing it, or at least trying to normalize the use of it in society, because your younger generations are anything goes, you know, and the older generations were the ones that were all smoking it that kind of started the revolution. So you got this whole multi-generational thing going. But here's the thing. Once this becomes normalized, you then will be able to, like Wendy said, now insert the GMO pot in there, because, you know, it's going to be bigger or better, and we're going to add more nutrients to fix more things in your body, because now it's a medicine. I really see some bad things coming with this.
As soon as the pharmaceutical industry gets their mitts on it, it's all over, because it's...
And the legalization was the first step to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got it out of the hands of, you know, the underground.
Well, I know that in the American Drug War, the first movie by Kevin Booth called American Drug War, he said in that movie that R.J. Reynolds, speaking of R.J. Reynolds, had bought up a bunch of, like, mountaintop, like, land so that they can get ready to plant pot.
Well, when I was in college... And I think I talked about this. I was hanging out with I had all my friends from Long Island, and we would go hang out there. I think there were 6 guys. They had a house, and they were our party buddies. So we would go on Friday, and everyone would drink and do whatever. and watch movies and play drinking games and be pretty crazy. And so here we're all sitting around, everyone's pretty baked, and we got something on TV. I think actually it was just the news was on, but no one was paying attention. You know how it was just kind of blah, 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 blah in the background until Juan Valdez, or whoever it was, someone who looked like Juan, sounded like Juan, came on the TV talking about, and he's walking through his crops of Acapulco Gold. And
Yeah.
it was a Marlboro commercial. I guess it was one of the many times that marijuana legalization had been up. And actually, it was at a federal level they were going for it at that time. So it must have been in the late 80s, I would guess. But it was, I guess it was a news report, and they were showing how Marlboro had already been ready with a commercial for their new Acapulco Gold. And it was like a Marlboro red box, but instead of red, it was all in gold.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so I'm pretty sure, doesn't R.J. Reynolds own Marlboro?
Yeah. I think so. Either that, yeah, it's either that or Philip Morris, but I think it's Arjun Reynolds. Crazy. They've been hedging their bets for quite some time now. And I do have to point out one other thing here is the fact that DC is the one that's decriminalizing it now. So, but everybody else federally is up for grabs by the feds, but not in Fed land.
Wait, what?
The criminals. I'm kind of shifting gears here a little bit.
It's not decriminalized federally in Washington, she said.
Oh!
She said on federal lands you cannot smoke it. It's still federal law. Only not on federal lands, which I was wondering to myself, well, how much of D.C. isn't federal land?
Yeah, that's what I
thought it was
mean,
all
maybe
feds.
that was like just maybe they decriminalized it, but you can't smoke it anywhere because it's all federal land.
There you go.
That doesn't make sense.
Right?
Then,
So they
does
just
it?
kind of did a motion to go, oh yeah, look at us.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was not. It is not decriminalized on federal land, so you cannot be standing at the Lincoln Memorial twisting one up.
I was
Boston.
going to say
I
that.
thought all of British Columbia, I thought all of it was, the District of Columbia, I thought it was all federal.
I did too.
Yeah, that I don't know, but I would guess so. I thought that's why it was called the District of Columbia. Not Virginia.
Right, not part of
Right?
the United States.
Right, it's not even a state.
Right. Because it's federal.
That's another catch-22.
It is. I wanted to talk about that because I wasn't exactly sure about the wording on that. Interesting.
Yeah, as far as I know, there is no decriminalization in the federal laws at all. It's still Schedule 1.
Oh, yeah, no, there isn't.
a
Not
danger.
federal. Not
Right.
federal.
So the big battle here is, who does state rule or does federal? Which, if the sheriff lets them in, then feds rule.
What?
Well, okay, it's against federal law everywhere, okay? But states have decriminalized it, okay? The only way the feds, though, can come in is if the sheriff allows them to come in and enforce fed laws on your community, which most sheriffs will do. But the sheriff can keep them out from raiding you if your sheriff stands his ground.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw my sheriffs as I was heading to Buffalo last week, whatever day that was, Monday, Tuesday. They built a substation right here in my little neighborhood, which kind of makes me mad. Yeah, because there's sheriffs everywhere now. But I just found it. The name of that company is Medicago, but I got to find the merger story. But as I'm driving, heading toward the expressway, I happen to see one of my local sheriffs in the local coffee watering hole parking lot on a brand new, super-sized motorcycle.
Oh, boy.
And I thought to myself, wow, glad you're hanging out in the local coffee shop parking lot on that nice, shiny new motorcycle that I bought you.
That I bought you.
that kind of makes me mad as my taxes go up every freaking year and I'm buying you shiny new motorcycles.
Absolutely.
In Rochester, a motorcycle patrol is a good idea. I mean, I could see in Miami, Florida, I could see in Southern California where the vehicles will be used 12 months out of the year.
They probably have brand new ACPs, Jules, and
they probably do. But I mean, we're talking Rochester, where we had snow up until April, May this year, and we're probably going to have snow starting in September, October.
Even here, I live rural. We don't have hardly any cops at all. 2 on duty, night and day, and they all have brand new vehicles. Every one of them. They don't use them enough to wear them out in a year, but they all have brand new. It just blows my mind.
Well, I don't know. I didn't want to get on sheriffs. You just mentioned them, so I was talking about the brand new. It kind of made me mad that he had a brand new freaking motorcycle. I'd like a brand new motorcycle. You want to buy me one?
Yeah, really. They got new equipment here too, all over the place.
And the military, we haven't gotten any military equipment here yet, so far as I've seen, because I drive by and look into their yard a lot. But there even little rural areas are getting this military equipment, and that's crazy.
Yeah, we just derailed.
I want to get back.
You were going to play a clip.
Yeah, I want to get back to the tobacco. So, here is the story about the $23 billion payout, and then I did just find the tobacco vaccine story. I need to find the merger story, too, but here, this is $23 billion payout. Widow successfully sues tobacco company for husband's death. I still can't believe this amount of money, and I'm prediction right now, R.J. Reynolds is going to go out of business. There's no way. Precedent says that there is going to be a mass class action lawsuit or just millions of people suing individually. They just set precedent.
Yep, they sure did.
Here we go.
A woman in Florida has won a record payout of $23 billion after suing a tobacco company for her husband's death.
This verdict is going to send a message to all of those companies that feel that, for whatever reason, profits come before people.
Cynthia Robinson's husband Michael died of lung cancer 18 years ago, with his widow claiming that R.J. Reynolds, America's second biggest cigarette maker, conspired to conceal the health dangers of its products.
We've been struggling with this case now for over almost 7-8 years. And, if the bell rings again, we'll be standing in the middle of the ring.
The judgment represents the largest in Florida history in a wrongful death lawsuit, with Cynthia's lawyer hoping it will make a difference.
And he'll get a big chunk.
I think that the tobacco companies are going to get their act together. They're going to make safer cigarettes. We know they can. They'll just make a little bit less money, but we'll save a whole lot of lives. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, is that what it's all about?
Well,
wonder what his take is on $23 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just insane. So, all right, so she's been having this lawsuit for 7 or 8 years. That still is not a justification for $1 billion. 23 billion?
Yeah, not just $1 billion, but 23 billion. Can you imagine how much money that is?
I'm sure that's on appeal. I'm positive of that.
Well, I got a story on it. Hold on. Florida jury has ordered R.J. Reynolds Tobacco to pay $23.6 billion to the wife of a longtime smoker who died of lung cancer in a verdict that is seen as one of the largest for a single plaintiff in state history. I would have to say, I don't remember any other individual getting billions. Do you?
Now, I wonder if this lady or her family or anything like that has any ties with R.J. Reynolds somewhere.
I don't know. It's massive. In addition to the punitive damages, Friday's verdict also awarded more than $16 million in compensatory damages to the estate of Michael Johnson Sr. So on top of the $23.6 billion, They also awarded $16 million.
Sounds like it. Wow.
During the four-week trial, so it was only 4 weeks, lawyers for Johnson's widow, Cynthia Robinson, argued that the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company was negligent in informing consumers of the dangers of consuming tobacco, and thus led to Johnson contracting lung cancer from smoking cigarettes. Now, how did they ever prove that it was cigarettes that did it? Because that was always one of the big arguments, was plausible deniability. I mean, so you lived in Florida, and there are nuclear power plants nearby. You know, you worked at the mine where they were mining who knows what. You had asbestos glue under your tile on the floor.
And it was your choice to buy the cigarettes, and you didn't have to.
Right. So how did this even happen?
I know. I just don't, and for that amount of money, and then, like you said, how many class actions are going to be brought up now? I mean, that company, there's no way it'll survive. No way.
I just think that there's something afoot.
There's something fishy. There definitely is something fishy here. And how many people have tried to sue before and failed?
Oh, yeah.
I don't get it.
A ton of people. I mean, why all of a sudden now...
Was
suddenly,
this a jury or just a judge?
Yeah, it was a jury trial.
Jury? How did these people ever agree to that? I mean, that in itself is amazing.
Yeah, well, all those people agreeing on something? Absolutely.
Right.
That doesn't happen often. All right, here, I'm going to...
Okay, and doesn't the jury decide the amount given? They do, don't they?
That I don't know.
I think they do. But anyway...
I don't
go ahead.
I don't really know.
They said that Johnson had become, quote-unquote, addicted to cigarettes and failed multiple attempts to quit smoking. Like, when I was reading this yesterday, like I said to my husband, who hasn't? Every single person who ever got hooked on cigarettes got addicted and didn't intend to.
Right.
Nobody. No, and we probably all started as teenagers, okay?
Uh-huh.
The Escambia County jury returned its verdict after some 15 hours of deliberations. R.J. Reynolds took a calculated risk by manufacturing cigarettes and selling them to consumers without properly informing them of the hazards, Robinson's lawyer, Willie Gary, said in a statement. Now, let me tell you something else. She said it was 18 years ago he died. So then 13 years on top of that. So that was 21 years ago.
Whoa.
But here's the thing. In the 80s...
Right, they were already...
It already had labels on the side of the cigarettes.
Yeah, those labels have been there a long
Yeah, they have been. They sure have been. So it says that selling them to consumers without properly informing them of the hazards, Robinson's lawyer, Willie Gary, said in a statement, and as a result of their negligence, my husband suffered from lung cancer and eventually lost his life. We will hope that this verdict will send a message to R.J. Reynolds and other big tobacco companies that will force them to stop putting the lives of innocent people in jeopardy. Now, I know that tobacco companies have lost verdicts before. People have sued. But not to the tune of $23.6 billion.
No.
There should be a class action, honestly. There probably should have been a long time ago.
Right, but I don't know. I still can't see 12 people saying, yeah, let's give them this billions of dollars. I just don't see it.
Here's another thing. Didn't they lose a lawsuit at one point? One of the tobacco companies did, and they were told that the money that they had to pay actually had to go into advertising, like anti-smoking advertising.
Right. I remember
that. It was at a federal level they did that.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And smoking cessation programs, because I believe that's where the 1-800 New York State Quit line came from. We actually built that police I used to work for. We built that whole phone system with it was all IVR, instant voice response. It was just a 1-800 number, press this, press that, press this. Right. But I am pretty certain that was federally funded. Initially, it was a state project, but it was under that federal lawsuit of them suing a tobacco company and the tobacco companies having to finance smoking cessation programs.
Right. Yes. I remember that way back then. And they agreed to it. They said that, their companies, they agreed to doing that. Mm-hmm. So, and now how many years ago was that? That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. because I've been out of there for 2 years and I was there for 12. So it probably 12, 14 years ago. I mean, it was right around when I first started. Whoever said they were going to appeal is correct. R.J. Reynolds plans to appeal the court decision and the verdict. Vice President and Assistant General Counsel J. Jeffrey Raborn said the landmark award was, quote, far beyond the realm of reasonableness and fairness, he charged in a statement. And I got to say, not that I'm siding with tobacco companies, but I agree. And this is just off the tracks, unbelievably high. But, do you put a value on a human life? And that's another, opposing question. But on the other hand,
how about all the other lawsuits that have come up?
How about all the other widows that are out there that didn't get their fair day in court?
Yeah.
Reynolds is, quote, confident that the court will follow the law and not allow this runaway verdict to stand, Raborn said, calling the damages, quote, grossly excessive and impermissible under state and constitutional laws. Smoking remains the leading preventable cause of premature death. Well, that's what the experts say. I would say GMO foods.
Yeah, I always question
radiation. Mm-hmm. I don't know if smoking could be considered the number one anymore. Might have been at one point.
Experts to go in, I mean, it's crazy.
And I got to tell you, these electronic cigarettes that they are now touting, take a look at the ingredients.
Yeah,
I mentioned a couple weeks ago going to the local liquid crack store.
Liquid crack store.
My dad and his friend. And they got all these flavors and everything. And there's 4 guys sitting around in the place. So there was like the owner, and they must have been his friends. And then, this display with all the flavors that you can try. Mm-hmm. And everybody's sitting there with
Nobody looks at the ingredients.
No, but I mean, they're all just sitting around like talking, and everyone's cracking out on these pipes. And then my father and our friend, they got the little thing where you can plug it in and try all the flavors. So I got 6 people in a room that I'm standing there as a regular smoker. And of course, I'm not smoking because I'm inside watching these 6 e-cigarette vapor crackheads. And on the wall is a list of ingredients. And I pointed to the, what was it? The polypropylene glycol?
Yeah.
Hey. Isn't this like close to antifreeze? You guys all cracking out on this stuff?
It is.
What they say? And they're like, oh, yeah, Jewel. Now, I actually, with my friend one night, we started talking about this, so we hit Wikipedia and started doing research, and yes, it is like one molecule different. It is the difference between what that Chinese company did making children's toothpaste, where they cheaped out. It's a sweetener, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they cheaped out because antifreeze is actually cheaper than, I think it's ethylene glycol versus polypropylene glycol.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the ethylene glycol is what is in the e-cigarettes, I believe. That is the non-toxic one. But it's only one molecule different. And it has all of these, they said that actually they put it in medications, they put it in cosmetics, they put it into foods. Did you know that?
Yeah.
These bastards.
Well, what is it going to do to vape it? Versus like consuming it and having it go through your digestive system. Like you were talking about nanoparticulates crossing the blood-brain barrier. I don't think we know enough about this shit. And after I pointed it out to my friend, cracking out with my dad doing these she actually agreed with me. She's like, Jewel, I think you're right, man. Like, this stuff is so addictive. And I catch myself, I got that thing in my mouth all the time. Way more than when I was smoking cigarettes.
Me too. Yep, I stopped doing them too when I started researching it and finding out how much. It's like in cigarettes, there's over 4,000 chemicals in it. Absolutely. I have the list. And then, so I thought, well, God, now everybody's doing these, and no one's looked into it. I looked into it, and I got all my friends off of it. And what an easy way, because people who smoke want a way to be able to do it without being arrested and shit.
Well, and not only not being arrested, but being, they kill your lungs and whatever. But like I said to my friends, at least with cigarettes, your enemy. You know what I mean? You have some idea. There is not enough long-term research. Exactly. There haven't been enough people to have kick the bucket and then fingers pointed going, oh, is those e-cigarettes yet?
Right.
For you to say, holy shit. Right now, you are version 1.0 experiment.
Yes.
Beware of 1.0. And,
right.
hey, you don't know if they're putting nanoparticles or anything in there.
God knows what the hell.
Well,
is
they banned them here. In a lot of places, they banned them also. Like in restaurants, you can't.
Yeah, in New York, I think they went that far as well, but only because of lefty, liberal, ignorant people who are like, "Oh, smoker's dirty. I don't care if it's just."
They're evil people.
I hate that.
Yeah, they're evil people.
And I'm a non-smoker.
But all I'm saying is, anyone who's smoking these things, pay attention. Just like step outside the box for a minute and watch how addictive this stuff is. Because as an outsider, being the one person in a whole room not doing this, I was like, wow, guys, I'm not touching that shit with a 10-foot pole. You guys are like junkies on this shit.
Didn't it seem like you were in the land of Oz in that room? I mean, holy.
When I tried them, didn't you? When you tried them, didn't it leave an aftertaste? That always got me off of it.
I have
really
two of
quick,
them.
too.
I have two of them. I have the last one my friend convinced me to buy was the blue. And I was like, I tried one way before and it tasted like plastic. So I took maybe 2 hits off that thing. I'm like, hell no. And who the hell knows? That was when I first started questioning, like, where's that juice made? And I discovered it was made in China. At least the stuff that was in mine. Now you can get locally made stuff. But the second thing was, why does it taste like plastic? And I've had a thing against plastic since I was a little kid. So the $80 at the time that I spent went out the window. So then my friend convinced me to buy the blue. He's like, oh, it's great. It tastes good. It tastes just like a cigarette. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, you're crazy. All right, so I bought one. Now this time they had them at the gas stations by now for what, $25 or something? So I got one of those. Still tastes the same. I'm like, how? But it's made in America now.
Jeez.
Have you noticed lately? I don't know. In the last couple months, I've noticed a metal taste in my mouth, and I can't get rid of it in the water or nothing.
Radiation.
Get rid of it. Man, but it's getting
That's
worse.
The radiation dose.
Yeah.
The first sign, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks after Fukushima happened, I had that and it was stuck on my tongue, and it was all metal.
Yeah, it's in my mouth, and I can't get rid of that.
It's radiation, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
so,
get out of there.
Well, it don't matter. It's everywhere. I mean,
it could be other things. There are symptoms of medical conditions, by the way, just so you know. Do a couple searches.
I have. But
you are right on the coast there, and you're right in that jet stream, I would guess. And right now, I thought there was a big event going on. They had... that number 5 now was melting down. Did you see that?
Oh, no.
Thing broke, and now they got duct tape together. And watch some of Kevin Blanch's most recent videos. There's some big shit. And I saw Drew was getting elevated numbers up in Oregon just over the last week or so. So I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Yo, this is intense.
Yeah.
Jeez,
and my garden, I've looked at my squash. Great big leaves, all kinds of flowers, no fruit. I have
mine too.
Yet.
Mine too. I got a huge container of squash, pumpkins, and cantaloupe. And I mean, it is like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, it's just going crazy.
Yeah, with flowers everywhere. I don't have one piece of fruit anywhere.
Me either.
I actually have been out there with my paintbrush trying to pollinate.
Yeah, I went and got this real good. It's Big Bloom, and it has everything. And I've done that with all of them. I mean, I've gotten 1 3-inch cucumber that's real tiny, and that's all I have out of probably 20 plants, 25 plants.
Yeah, I don't think any cucumbers have shown up, and I maybe have six cherry tomatoes. That's it, out of probably 30 plants.
Wow.
So that's weird. They're getting there, and what gets me is they've all flowered, and I've gone out there thinking, all right, the flowers are dead. Now I'm going to be getting all this squash. Not one. And last year I had lots.
Lack of bees?
No bees around either.
The flower and no fruit.
Right,
that's why
I have wasp nests all along my eave in my house last year. I go around and I kill them all. This year there's not one.
I saw some wasps this weekend.
Yeah, I sat on a wasp nest. I
Ouch.
in my pajamas on the outside lawn chair when we're down in the hills. My first cup of coffee, I get up, I go sit out on the front porch and sit on the chair, and I'm talking to my dad, and I happen to look down, and there's a wasp flying between my knees, and I'm like, shoot. And then there's like 10 wasps flying between my knees. I'm like, oh my God, I stand up. There's a wasp nest right under my ass onto the chair.
Oh my God.
I did not get bitten or stung, which is good.
Good, because they usually go after you.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to make a correction to something I said. That Medicago, that is working with DARPA on the universal flu vaccines, is jointly owned by Philip Morris and Mitsubishi.
And Mitsubishi?
Mitsubishi! That's a new one, because I didn't see that before.
So now the car
industry's in on it.
They're all in on it.
Mitsubishi is all into like that smart electronics and whatever.
Yes.
So don't think, guys, this is pretty crazy. So maybe R.J. Reynolds wouldn't play ball, so they said, screw you, we're taking you out.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it one bit.
Just a thought.
It's some nasty infighting going on.
Yeah, and something else I'm going to point out to you. You know, a lot of these companies are headquartered out of North Carolina. Well, guess what else has become North Carolina has become the capital of all that, and that's the GMO companies.
Of course.
You know, that's where Research Triangle Park is where BASF moved their headquarters out of Germany when they got kicked out, and that's where they have all their huge greenhouses now that they're doing testing on the bees, you know, the GMO bees. They bought up that company that was trying to save them all from colony collapse disorder. I believe that was Monsanto that bought that.
Isn't that area where they moved the Plum Island place to? No,
Plum Island in Kansas. No, that's
okay.
Right in the heartland.
Mm-hmm.
Tornado Alley.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. God.
I never thought of that. Yes, it is. It's Tornado Alley.
Jeez. Heaven help us. Mm.
Well, here, let me read a little bit about this Medico Gecko.
Yeah, go for it. This is interesting.
Yeah, this actually, the last story that I saw was from 2013, so this one's from April of 2014, so this is a new update. Making flu vaccines from tobacco. 2 years ago, the U.S. Department of Defense ponied up $21 million to see if a flu vaccine could be grown in tobacco plants. The project was a rousing success, producing 10 million doses in just 30 days. Next up, getting it past the FDA. The $21 million was a part of a DARPA program called Blue Angel, designed, and I've done Blue Angel quite a number of times. I remember when Madison first wrote the story on it a few years ago, and I was horrified. Designed to overhaul instability in the vaccine supply chain, frequent shortages are seen as a national security issue, and the DoD wants soldiers healthy during an epidemic. Did they just say that? Currently, yeah, they did just say that. And what did I tell you? When that epidemic comes, they're going to have you begging for their GMO vaccines.
Absolutely.
Currently, vaccines are produced using an unwieldy process that dates back to the 1940s, injecting small bits of flu genes into a chicken egg and allowing them to grow. The current and slow production takes 5 or 6 months. We've talked about that before, too. Because of the length of time that it takes, they typically are creating vaccines based upon last year's flu. Predicting how much vaccine to make in a yearly guessing game, as is devising the right strains of the vaccine. Flu genes are constantly mutating, and it doesn't take long for a vaccine to become outdated. Enter biotech firm Medicago, jointly owned by Philip Morris and Mitsubishi. This Quebec-based company, get Canada involved, owns, and of course let's make sure they're out of the country.
Yes.
Owns a 97,000 square foot greenhouse in the heart of North Carolina's tobacco country. More importantly, they own patents on a system for rapidly growing, and here we go, people, this is the stuff, VLPs in plants. VLPs stand for virus-like particles, and I'm going to tell you, when I started to really dig into this again is that scary DNA, RNA stuff, and it's all patented GMO crap. It is a patented adjuvant that acts like a virus that goes into your body and creates an immune response. Scary, scary, scary shit.
I'm rocking.
Okay.
I know, I was just going to say that. Yes, I'm rocking side to side.
At the core of this process is the Nicotina Bethylmania, and I had actually done a whole ton of research, too, into all of these substances that are in tobacco to understand how they work on the body, and then these different virus-like particles. This was actually about a week's worth. And I was going to talk about it then, and then we got derailed, and I never got to it. But all the research is still posted on that before the first cut page. At the core of this process is the Nicotina Bethylmania, a close cousin of Nicotiana tabacum, better known as smoking tobacco. This Australian plant is native to the desert and has historically been used as a stimulant, though it contains less nicotine than a standard field tobacco. For the purposes of vaccine production, it has a couple of winning attributes. It is extremely robust and hardy, and it grows to maturity in just 6 weeks. At the Maracaibo greenhouse, thousands of these plants are grown for about 5 weeks. Technicians then suck the air out of each plant with a vacuum while submerging them in a special inoculum solution. Think of it like a sponge, says David Henry, Maracaibo's manufacturing director. You start by pulling the air out, and then when the sponge is released, it will suck in everything around it.
Ew.
It's the same with the plant's leaves. So basically, they are drowning these leaves in this special VLP stuff.
Yeah, it's insidious.
Well, I hope the tobacco plants revolt.
Oh, man, because
they're probably all screaming as they're being drowned.
Oh, my God.
Horrible!
I mean, add that with the immigration, with all the diseases coming in, boom, mandatory vaccination.
That's what I was saying. Well, as soon as they say that we have a pandemic and people are getting sick, maybe it won't be mandatory, and maybe there won't be people, or maybe it will be, and people won't take it. Well, guess what? Next thing you know, your friends and family members are going to be bleeding out every orifice. Right? You're going to be begging them to give it to you.
Yes.
Yep. Scary.
This is insidious, man.
And we've seen this coming on. We've seen it building up.
We sure have. Okay, once the solution is inside the plant, the VLPs spend a week growing. And after a few days, the plant's leaves become mottled and discolored. According to Henry, it's as if they've caught the flu. At the end of a week, the leaves are picked off of each plant by hand for processing into a bulk vaccine. Maracaibo has been tinkering with this process for 14 years, initially using transgenic alfalfa as the host plant. Now, transgenic, let's look at this, because alfalfa is pretty much all genetically modified. Is that what transgenic means?
And it's always put in hay. That's what hay is. Alfalfa and...
What's transgenic? Transgenic. Well, USDA approves unregulated planting of transgenic alfalfa.
Jeez, there you go.
And genetically modified. Yes, it is.
There you go.
Over the objections of organic farmers and organic food consumers, and despite a legal challenge, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has decided to allow commercial planting of alfalfa genetically engineered to tolerate Monsanto's Roundup herbicide without any federal requirements to prevent contamination of the rest of the alfalfa seeds and plantings. So there you go.
That's right.
So they were using transgenic alfalfa as the host plant. They shifted to tobacco upon realizing that it grows quicker and produces much more protein than alfalfa. The tobacco plants are also naturally occurring, unlike the GM alfalfa previously used. Now, I got to tell you, I started digging into, though, this tobacco, and I found some stuff. So I'm not so sure about that statement, guys. We'll leave that one for a future research project, because I know when I dug into all those different kinds of tobacco, there was something funky about this one. Henry says that so far public reaction has been largely supportive. I think people like the idea of creating something positive from a plant with such a negative stigma, he says. Of course, it helps that the vaccine extraction process leaves no residual nicotine. The new vaccines will even be vegan-friendly. Some vegans currently avoid egg-based flu vaccines. The CDC gave DARPA-funded proof of concept a thumbs up, and early clinical trials have shown positive results. Medicago is now in phase 1 of FDA testing, a small focused trial on humans. So how soon will it be before we start seeing these vaccines commercially available? Probably in 2018 or 19. Anyone familiar with the FDA stringent drug review process? Yes, people.
According to how much money you have, period.
Oh, wait, unless Obama declares what?
Oh, a national emergency.
Yeah, and a pandemic. And then they go out the window, people.
That's right.
And in this case,
and they're all got immunity.
Yeah, they are, actually.
That's super, super double-edged insidious.
But assuming this all works out, Henry says that the same process could be applied to any number of vaccines. We think this is going to forever change how vaccines are produced. Da, da, da.
Jeez.
Now, if you were a tobacco company, you'd be pretty damn smart getting on this bandwagon.
Philip Morris, yes.
Philip Morris, but not R.J. Reynolds. And that's why we talked about this, because I do think something is afoot. I think someone just sold R.J. Reynolds down the river.
Yeah. Well, so wouldn't the same precedence, though, if this does set precedence, couldn't they go and start suing Philip Morris as well? How come Philip Morris is immune to all this?
Good question. Maybe camels haven't been proven to give anyone cancer. I think they make camels, don't they? Or Winston?
Yeah, Winston. That's what my dad used to smoke.
I wanted to search one more thing.
He got acupuncture and stopped.
Did he? My mom did that, too.
Yeah.
I was looking at that great Chinese medicine site yesterday that I
Yeah, that's kind of why I said that.
Here, this is the story I just read, if I can get it to paste. Yeah, that's some pretty crazy stuff. There is way more to that than meets the eye, though, because like I said, I dug into this. I spent a week reading about all the different types of things that are going on and the different chemicals, but I wanted to find Medicago. If SLC's out there, Medicago is a good one to research. That's where I started digging down into... Yeah, I mean, they're doing... Here, looking just through Medicago, they're doing gene sequencing and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, my God.
Tell me that these... But I want to look at this VLP. This is the virus-like particles. I think that is where I started to really get scared, because I was like, what the hell are VLPs?
Virus-like particles.
Right. So it's just like they can with, natural substances. You can't patent it, but you can when it's a genetically modified substance.
Oh.
All right, here. VLPs, for effective, long-lasting vaccines. Virus-like particles, VLPs, represent one of the most exciting emerging vaccine technologies for generating effective and long-lasting protection. VLPs consist of protein shells studded with short strands of proteins specific to whatever disease the vaccine is intended to control. VLPs are made to look like a virus, allowing them to be recognized readily by the body's immune system. However, they lack the core genetic material, making them non-infectious and unable to replicate, unlike current influenza vaccines that are manufactured with inactivated virus. VLP-based vaccines do not require an actual sample of the virus. They simply require the genetic sequence of the virus or bacteria. Another important advantage of VLPs is that they more effectively activate key aspects of the immune response to achieve potent immune stimulation and provide immunological memory. VLP-based vaccines also have shown to provide protection against different strains of a virus other than those for just which the vaccine was formulated. And with influenza viruses mutating rapidly, the previous year's vaccine produced in eggs often cannot be used Medicago's VLP technology enables the creation of a vaccine that exactly matches the specific pandemic strain in circulation and offers strong cross-protection against other subtypes of influenza. Caution, Will Robinson.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah. Extreme caution. That's all I can say. And these aren't, I mean, there are multiple venues that they are coming at this with these genetically modified immune response adjuvants. And I mean, this is even beyond an adjuvant. This is pretending to be a virus.
Yeah. That they have the cure for.
Right. The mRNA vaccines literally will go in and reprogram your DNA to react to anything that it's been told is bad. Jeez. So they actually will go in and physically manipulate your immune system. So these are two types of GMO-esque vaccines that are coming in regards to pandemics and flus. So be aware, people. I really think, really think we're going to be human guinea pigs very soon without us wanting to be, for certain.
Well, I think that's been happening for a long time, right?
Well, possibly. I mean, but this is way beyond.
This is it on a mass scale, en masse.
I mean, maybe they've been putting nanotech in there before, but they really haven't understood much. But I mean, now they really are working at a level that is like way beyond what they've been doing before.
This is like, I don't know. How do you? A lot of people can't even comprehend like how crazy this all is. It's science, and guess what? When stuff gets too hard to understand, people just shut it off. Yeah, that's the thing. And they just, it's like information overload. Oh no, and then they roll over and their pink belly's exposed. You know what I mean?
So here we go. Here's a prime example of how this is going to take off now, if this even loads. So there have been a lot of stories coming out by the alternative media, even. Natural News happens to be this one, about outbreaks of I see that now they're peddling turmeric gold. How nice. With somebody's picture on the front of it. No, I'm just kidding. There have been lots of stories, even by the alternative media recently, about outbreaks of things in populations where people have been vaccinated, and they've been pointing to those, going, look, the vaccines aren't working either, so we shouldn't be taking vaccines. But guys, they're going to use all of that against us. All of it. Whooping cough outbreak strikes county where 95% of all children had been vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
So the anti-vaxxers, like I said, are going to point to that and say, hey, look, vaccines aren't good. And the DARPA-esque financed companies, which, by the way, Medicago has DARPA financing, as did, and what was the name of that company? Remember, I read that story last week. It was the French company. It was a French company and another European company that they were developing those the mRNA vaccines.
That's
that
right.
also had DARPA money in it.
Right.
That also had DARPA money. They're going to come out and say, oh, well, the old way of making vaccines is now ineffective.
Right.
And
So
now
here's
to
the new
take
way.
these new ones. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think that by making a big deal out of how these vaccinations weren't working is helping the cause any, because it's not. It's not. They're not going to let you get away with it.
Yep, they're not. And now there goes your opt-out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could do it for religious. I'm going to be religiously opposed to nanotech and biotech. I think we need to form a new Scientology religion.
Yeah.
Quick. Stat.
Flu.
Anti-science fiction religion.
Yeah, there you go.
Anything to do with DARPA. I am religiously opposed to. I wonder if we could do that. I mean, it's not hard to create your own religion. I think we should.
They do it all the time.
Yeah.
I think we should. And anything that is science fiction based crazy, you could be religiously opposed to and go live with the Amish.
Right.
Hey, I'm going to become Amish.
There you go.
My neighbors are Amish. I can ask them how.
Too.
Jeez, the Amish aren't even Amish anymore.
They're attacking the Amish too.
Crazy, man.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, raw milk and all that.
Started it. That was their door in. You know. They're gonna get everywhere.
And now they got cameras all on them, filming their lives from, the TV. Yeah, the whole TV. There's like all kinds of stupid ass shows about that.
And now they use cell phones.
The Amish are not Amish anymore. They've been infiltrated.
Well, they can use tools and phones and things as long as you get them for them.
Like I was at a friend's house, and I swear to God, we were just hanging out there. It was and their next door neighbors from across the street came over, and it was an entire Mennonite family. And I ran in and put a sweater because I had a spaghetti straps on, and I ran in and got a sweater and covered up, and it was really cool. They were respectful. They were really a nice family. They grew a bunch of herbs, and they had a bunch of chickens. And, they sell eggs, and they were really nice people. I don't know. Sidetrack, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, any Amish that I've ever met, I have thought that they were very nice people and very respectful, but there are others who have lived amongst them for long periods of time who have other things to say just about business practices and whatever. I don't know. You know what? Here's my thing. Simple living, I think we've lost, and we need to get back to that because all this crazy technology stuff is going to be our undoing.
That's right.
And you're talking to a person who was on the leading edge of technology for many, many years. And people tell me that
we're trying to get back there, but look at our gardens. Organic, trying to do it all the right way, and now they're not producing anything.
Well, I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The point is make sure they don't produce, so then you're not going to have any other choice but to buy GMO seeds that will then produce in the environment that they're creating.
Well, that's what this one lady brought up at the council meeting. She goes, I'm an organic farmer, and because I choose not to use GMO seeds, my plants are not producing because they aren't being protected, from the aluminum and everything that's going into the soil. She had a very valid point there.
I've got to mention at this juncture that we're having a very good growing season here. All of our flowers are producing fruit, and we're having like a gangbuster bumper crop here in Michigan.
Nice.
Isn't that strange? Because California was always the producer of all, over half the food in the United States. And now we can't get anything to grow.
Well, we're good here. Let me tell you, corn's growing good. I mean, they're already putting corn out in the stands. I mean, it's the
Do you
apples.
get sprayed a lot there?
Huh?
Do you get sprayed a lot there?
Well, we've got the jet stream goes over Michigan and travels back up and through Canada and comes back down south, and comes back. The jet stream's constantly going over Michigan. So we're getting what everybody else is getting, but my mom, her tomato plants are gorgeous right now.
And they're not
Does she
GMO.
have tomatoes?
Yeah, they're all big green tomatoes, and they were just starting to turn red, because I was taking care of them for a week, and they're huge. They're wonderful. My friend's getting Chinese eggplant on hers, and there's more buds and more flowers that are producing, and it's great here.
Oh,
That's
good.
strange, huh?
I just had to interject that.
Maybe the jet stream is just right, so it's missing you.
Something. I don't know, but whatever's happening, we're in Michigan. It seems that we're pretty good here. So I just had to say that, just because, that's just an observation that I've had personally.
Send me some of your soil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't know. Joe's from Michigan, too. I wonder if he's noticing that.
I think he's in chat, right?
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody in chat.
Hi, chat.
You know, you should do a soil sample and see, you know, because we have all our soil samples from out here that's showing real high levels, you know, of aluminum, barium, and all that, and taking our pH down. It would be interesting to see a soil sample from you guys compared to ours.
Can she send it to you and you get it to
I can get
Francis?
it to Dane or Francis, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just send me some of your soil in you know, in the mail. It doesn't take much.
Okay.
Yeah,
I should find an organic farm so that it's fair.
Well, any soil where you're producing a lot of you know, fruit and vegetables in your garden, any of that soil would help.
Right, like the outside soil.
Right.
Shit, I'll go to my friend's garden that has the Chinese eggplant.
Yeah, one that's doing real well, and then compare the two, and then try and decipher what's going on then.
They've got a compost pile there on that property. They bought this house from a midwife, and she would take placentas and bury it out in the compost pile. So it's like charged compost pile.
I used all my compost, and I had it covered too throughout all last winter. So yeah, so I don't know. That would be interesting if you could just send me some, and I'll make sure I'll get it to Francis.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll do that. Maybe I'll send you a couple of samples. Okay. I mean, just because, I mean, typically when you're being scientific about something, you have to take 3 samples from 3 separate parts of the area, correct?
Right, and just put them in a baggie and seal them up, and then, you know, put where each one was from.
Right on.
Wow, there's some crazy stuff going on with this plane crash. I guess we're going to have to talk about this tomorrow. M17 passenger body crashes through house. M17 bodies allegedly loaded onto trains. RT reporter quits over M17 coverage. And then I saw that one of the Ukrainian generals came out and said all those bodies weren't fresh to begin with.
Uh-huh.
But then people there said they think fresh blood and all. So I don't know. It's like everything else.
Blood packs.
Yeah, that's
they use them in movies.
Well, hey, Casey Kasem's body is missing. I was thinking he's on that flight.
Hey, guys, we got about 30 seconds left. So, everybody, hey, do me a favor. Just remember that we do this for free. I want to also put a yell out to Maddie Clues. If that's you, Maddie, Maddie has been sending us daily donations.
Oh, I love you, Maddie.
Maddie, if you're out there, I want to say thank you so much. It makes me smile every day when I see the little email come in. But just know, guys, that this is all out of, I mean, despite the donations, it's me. You know, so help us out. You don't have to send donations if you help check out our sponsors. All right, ladies, well, thanks for bringing me in.
Heck yeah.
Have a great day, people.
Bye.
All right, everyone, take care. We'll continue tomorrow.